And you know, there's another element in our lives that we don't think much about, and that's the element of faith. You think of the faith that you have to have every day. You have to have faith that your wife didn't put poison in your coffee this morning. You have to have faith in her. She might have felt like it, but she didn't. You have to have faith in the bank. When you write a check and sign it and you have money in the bank, you have to have faith that the bank's going to pay it. You have to have faith in the government. When you pull out a dollar bill, now I know it's shrinking, but you have faith that back of it is a dollar, that people will accept it as money. Everything we do is by faith. Now, for example, when I come up on a hill, and I live in the mountains of North Carolina, and we have a lot of hills, I don't stop my car before I get to the crest of the hill and get out and walk over and see if somebody's coming up the other side on the wrong side. I have faith to believe that the drivers are going to stay on their side. Faith, 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 everything. When you sat in that chair, had you ever sat in that chair before? I bet you didn't pick it up and examine it and put your hands on it to see if it would hold you. By faith, you just sat down in it. You had faith that people wouldn't build a chair that wouldn't hold you. Everything we do is by faith. All right, take the same faith, put it in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you will know who Jesus is. You accept Him by faith, and He comes into your life and into your heart, and you know that He's who He claims to be.
It was already in the honors group at a school, in the band, and I said, if you get in the first chair, I'll give you $500. I'm going to give you $500. Of course, you know, he practiced, and he called me and he said, Grandmother, he said, guess what? I said, what? He said, I got in the first chair. And I said, you got in the first chair? He said, yes. And so I'm just waiting, and I said, and you're calling me because? He said, you said that if I got in the first chair, you would give me $500. I knew then that if he was ever going to believe anything that I say, if my word was ever going to be anything to him, I was going to have to honor that. And as I gave him the $500, the Father said to me, oh, I wish that you would be that way with me. If you can come to me and say, Father, you said, and tell him exactly what it is. If it's financial, you can say, Father, you said, if I brought my tithes to the storehouse, that there will be meat. You said, Father, you said, find the word, and whatever God said that you do your part, He's made promises that He's going to do His.
When you give up food, both enjoyable and necessary, you draw God's attention. Even back then, Jesus warned us not to flaunt our fasting. Jesus warned His disciples not to fast for public acclaim. The fact that He says, whenever you fast, indicates that He regards fasting as a legitimate spiritual discipline. To fast is to temporarily abstain from a bodily craving, usually food, for the sake of a spiritual need. Instead of eating, you devote yourself to secret prayer, seeking God's intervention in the kingdom. You don't fast to impress your friends, and you usually don't even tell them. As previously stated, Jesus said, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Fasting, like climbing a mountain, is both spiritually and physically demanding. Set out on this adventure with a clear understanding of what you're doing and the knowledge that the road ahead may be difficult, but the benefits will be well worth it. Start small if this is your first fast. God will honor your first step of faith, which may appear small to others but be a giant one for you. God is also concerned about your heart's response during a fast. your attitude is a very serious part of your fast. Just like when a man proposes to a woman, it is not the length of his proposal that gets a yes, but his heart. So when you start fasting, don't worry about how long your fast should last. Just make sure your relationship with God is in good working order.